Leonard and Rochelle Green, a distinguished Black couple, were flying first class from Atlanta to San Francisco after Rochelle received an award for her advocacy work. A flight attendant, S. Whitmore, gave them a tense welcome. Just 7 minutes after they took their seats, she returned with two airport security officers. She claimed the couple was flagged for suspicious behavior and demanded they be escorted off the plane. Despite Leonard and Rochelle's calm and composed demeanor, they were led off the aircraft in full view of the other passengers. They were taken to a cold, sterile screening room where the security officers seemed uncomfortable with the situation. When Rochelle asked what behavior had been flagged, an officer admitted the flight attendant had provided no specifics, only that something felt off. Leonard, a retired federal security consultant, then revealed his background, causing the officers to pause and realize the seriousness of the situation. Rochelle and Leonard requested that the airport manager be contacted. While waiting, Rochelle messaged her brother, who was an airport CEO. Within minutes, the airline's director of terminal operations, Director Hopkins, arrived and sincerely apologized, explaining that a crew alert notice had been filed against them by flight attendant S. Whitmore before the plane even took off. The footage confirmed the couple had done nothing wrong. Meanwhile, a quiet tension had grown on the plane. Passengers who had witnessed the event began to whisper, sensing that the removal was wrong. A young flight attendant named Ellen admitted to a passenger that Whitmore had removed the couple because they made her uncomfortable. The airline's chief operating officer, COO, Mara Langston, arrived at the airport and grounded the entire flight. She confirmed that Whitmore had filed a false security concern and was being removed from duty immediately. With the flight grounded, Rochelle and Leonard were asked by the COO to return to the plane. They agreed, deciding that they would not be walking away from this quietly. As they reboarded the aircraft, escorted by the COO, the cabin fell completely silent. The COO announced that the delay was due to an internal crew matter and publicly relieved Whitmore of her duties, citing a violation of company policy on profiling. Whitmore was escorted off the plane by security as all the passengers watched in silence. Rochelle and Leonard took their seats again, and the flight departed. The passengers, now aware of what had happened, began to feel a collective guilt and discomfort. Some started writing about the event on social media, admitting their own silence. A marketing executive on the flight drafted an email to her CEO about the need for corporate accountability, and the young college student uploaded a video of the couple's return. The pilot, Captain Archer, was also alerted to the situation, receiving instructions for an escorted deboarding. Everyone on board knew this was a significant event, not just a minor delay. Once the plane landed, Rochelle and Leonard refused to be escorted through a private exit. They chose to face the public. And as they deboarded, passengers who had been silent before now offered quiet nods of apology and support. The couple met with senior airline executives who presented a preliminary incident report. They formally acknowledged that the incident was not a misunderstanding, but a profiling incident, and a Code 7 Red, the highest classification for bias-triggered intervention. The executives offered a public apology and a promise to retrain all flight attendants. However, Rochelle made it clear she was not seeking a payout. Instead, she demanded that the airline publish her unedited statement on their homepage and link to it on every in-flight screen. The airline agreed to her terms. The next morning, Rochelle's unedited statement was live on the airline's website. Her words, calm and direct, went viral. She hadn't screamed or sued, she had simply told the truth, and it resonated with people who had their own experiences with quiet discrimination. The story was picked up by national news outlets, and a civil rights group launched a campaign called Seen in First Class for others to share their stories. The airline, seeing the public's response, issued a second, more honest statement from its CEO, acknowledging their failure to question assumptions. Rochelle, who had no interest in a media tour, chose to use this moment not for personal fame, but to challenge the system. She understood that anger could be used to dismiss the incident, but her calm truth was undeniable. She had refused to give them that chance. In the weeks that followed, the airline implemented sweeping changes to its policies. The bias protocols were dismantled and replaced with clear, objective standards. Crew members began receiving new training focused on equity and fairness, and whistleblower protections were expanded. Rochelle, a natural leader, attended a national summit on transport equity, but chose to listen from the audience rather than speak. When asked how she stayed calm, she explained that she did so to protect the truth, knowing that anger would have been used to discredit her and the incident. She also received an email from Ellen, the flight attendant, who had decided to leave her job and pursue a different career, acknowledging that her silence had made her part of the system. This was a pivotal moment for Rochelle, confirming that her actions had created a ripple effect of self-reflection and change in others. The final flight. Months later, Rochelle and Leonard boarded another flight. This time, a young black flight attendant quietly thanked Rochelle, telling her that reading her statement had changed the way she did her job. This brief exchange showed Rochelle that her story had created a tangible, human impact beyond corporate policy changes. As the plane took off, Rochelle and Leonard were able to finally feel a sense of peace. The tension was gone, replaced by the normalcy of travel. Rochelle closed her eyes, not to forget the incident, but to rest in the knowledge that she had not allowed silence to win. Her refusal to stay quiet had not only changed the outcome of one flight, but the rules and attitudes behind it, ensuring that dignity and respect were not a reward, but a baseline for everyone.